Goodness and mercy all my life shall surely follow me, and in my Father's heart always my dwelling place shall be. My dwelling place shall be. My dwelling place shall be.
Thank you, Cameron, and thank you to all of you for your music. What a gift of the Spirit you bring to us this morning. I'm sure glad Sheila O'Coin is our friend. I bet you are too. Glad she's your friend. No. Not everybody can say that they're friends with their teachers, but I'm pretty sure you can. So I want to talk today a little bit about language. And when we have this gift of young people in our midst, you know I'm going to be talking to them mostly because I don't get that chance very often, but you're welcome to listen in, follow on, and even contribute. That would be awesome, because I think this is something we can all experience together. So I'm going to start by asking if any of you have ever tried to learn a second language. All right, maybe lots of you. Okay, tell me about that experience. It didn't go well? So what was the language that you were trying to learn? Spanish? And were you doing Google Lingo? Yeah, so what do you think didn't go right about that, Alex? That's a problem with translation. So for those of you who didn't hear him, I should really be passing the mic around there in the front row. But he was saying that he was learning from Google Lingo how to say something in that language. When he actually tried to practice it, didn't come out exactly the way it was supposed to. And so there was a little confusion of terms. Yeah? Familiar with anybody? Anybody have that experience? Yeah? Okay, so other people who've tried to learn a second language, or who have succeeded even in learning a second language. Insights or experiences? Yeah, do you want to take a mic? I'm coming down. I'm taking my book. Might need to be a little bit refigured. Okay. Are you okay with this, Jim? I better be. I should take the portable. Google Translate is a fantastic tool. And it used to be really hard to translate into another language without, or to try to make yourself understood. Do you have a story, Catherine, about trying to make yourself understood in another language? No, I'm talking to you, my mother. Well, remember the Vietnamese families when they came and how hard it was to even find 5 words that we could know in common? Yeah. Draw pictures. So you can draw, and don't you find that when you're trying to make yourself understood in another language, you can also do charades pretty well? Yeah? Yeah, so examples. Is there an example for something that you would express? Kathy Hanley, I bet you've got a story. Yes, come on up. come on down. Let's have this story, Kathy Hanley. You just dying to ask.
We lived in China, and Michelin gave language instruction to David and I every week. And every week we had to go back about 5 pages. And so in the end, we would just ask her questions about her country and just wanting to know about the culture. And then we go, oops, time's up. I guess you have to go. It's so hard. But we would do things like this. You know, you need to drink or eat, or you used your hands all the time. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a Syrian story. No. It's good. It's good. She's got a million stories. Okay, so there's language. There's that word to word, which is always a good place to start if you're talking about language. But here's a question I know you're going to all say yes to. Have any of you tried to teach your parents and or grandparents something about technology? Anybody tried to fix a cell phone for somebody? Yeah. Happens lots, right? Do you think your parents speak the same language as you do in that category? No, not even close. You've grown up with devices, right? So you have a whole set of skills and words, you know, all those initial words like I know LOL and a few others. But it's a whole phrase, right? It's a whole sentence. It's a whole idea that's conveyed with 3 or 4 letters, right? And so you can type fast and everybody gets what you know. But you know, you're trying to do this to somebody my age and you're thinking, yeah, they're just not going to get it. It's just not quite the same. Although, I don't do too badly. But anyway, that's one of the other ways. So what is it that bridges the gaps? What makes it possible for you to communicate with each other when language is a problem? So we talked about charades, we talked about Duolingo, we talked about Google Translate, we talked about charades and pictures and hand signals. But I'm wondering if there's one other thing that helps when you're trying to learn a language. Like, what helped you to learn English? Besides Google Translate, what was the best thing to help you learn English? Speaking it, practicing it, right? Being a part of how that language is a way you express yourself. I wonder if any of you know where I'm going with this. Any ideas? Any idea where I'm going with this, people? Okay, I'm glad you don't know yet, because this will be a surprise. So we know that there's a language point. Tongues of fire in this story go along with the other elements. Water and spirit, which is wind in this story, and fire is an expression of that spirit, and people from all around the earth. So all 4 elements are in this story. They're collected in one place, and something really incredibly mysterious and wonderful happens. They finally feel a sense of God's presence among them in a way that they were promised but never expected to experience. And so because they had that firsthand experience with Jesus, they sort of knew that this presence, this spirit they felt that he was present with them in a way that they had never understood before. And it's a language of spirituality that's related to their physical, their actual experience, and also to that mysterious place that they were all in. Now, I bet this group of people, like no other collection of teenagers, will know exactly what I mean when I say there's an energy that you can't describe when you sing together. That when you actually get the harmonies right, when you actually sing the words so that everybody can understand them, when you actually look out and see the faces of people really appreciating your music, when you look at your teacher and you know that you've done a job that really pleases her, you know, there's an experience that's hard to describe. You just know that it's right. You've done it right, you did a good job, it's all good, right? that's an experience that you can't really put into words, but you know something incredible has happened. This winter, I had this conversation with my grandson. He's 13, so you can forgive him. And you can forgive me for talking about him so much because he's adorable. But we were at the beach, and I love the winter beach. I love being at the beach in the winter, and there was about 2 weeks when there was a lot of ice at Melmurby Beach. And there was one day that the ice was packed in so far that you could walk all over it. And I really wanted him to experience it. And he was thinking, I'm not going to go on the beach and run with the dog. I know, my grandmother wants me to do that. That's not what I want to do. He was going to stay in the car, and he was on his phone playing games. You know, that's how it goes. So he was listening, he was playing games, and I sent him a text. And I said, Sebastian, just come over to the beach for 5 minutes. Indulge your grandmother. Come on over. Well, he went and jumped on those ice floes and had such a good time. Of course, he was on his sneakers, so wasn't that great. I was thinking I should have given him my cleat things that I wear in ice. They were in the car, but I didn't think of that. And had what I would call a spiritual experience in a wonderland that only happens for a short time in the winter. And if he had stayed connected, he would have missed it, right? If he had stayed just attached to whatever level of the game he was on, he would have missed it. And he had this wonderful experience of spirit in nature that I knew he'd love, and I just wanted him to enjoy it and invited him in. And then we had something that we could talk about, because together we appreciated that beautiful ice. You know, sometimes the sun shines on it, it almost looks blue. It was just so incredible. I wonder if, I'm not gonna point fingers at your parents, because I think it's actually happened for several generations. Because before your parents, in my day, and when I was a child, my parents are here, so people think, lots of people think, yeah, if my kids want to, this is what parents my age used to say. I'm not totally against church, but I'm not going to force it on my kids. They can go if they want to or not. And so if nobody ever takes you and allows you to experience the sense of the stories and the mystery that's within them, how can you ever, would be some kind of a random idea that you would get exposed to at some point in your life without. So I'm telling this to parents, grandparents, let kids, let your kids, your grandchildren, your neighbors, anywhere, see you being spiritual. Watch you pray. Talk to them about what matters, what's mystery, what's deeper than this and here and now and our own individual materialized, commercialized, individual lives. So to think about ways that you can experience God's presence that you might not even be able to describe, but you'll be able to understand when you read those stories and hear those stories. That's the challenge. That's a challenge for this generation. And I know that you're going to do that as leaders in music and as people who care for the earth and as people who want to cherish and value and embody equality, and as people who stand up for injustice. Those are all ways that you're going to express the spirit that's present among us. This afternoon, I'm going to be the MC for Gerard Velthoven's Celebration of Life. I don't know if you would have known Gerard because he's quite a bit older, but he's kind of a famous Pictou County person. He died last summer, and his Celebration of Life was supposed to be the weekend that Hurricane Fiona hit us, and it was postponed till a nicer day. Well, they got a good day, for sure, but I was thinking a lot about Gerard and the languages that he speaks and his spiritual experiences and the negativity that he experienced in church and And his celebration of life coincides with the beginning of Pride Month. Well, Pictou County Pride is for the month of June. And I don't know if you were part of a protest, if you experienced protesters in your school a couple of weeks ago who were, so I was part of a counter protest that was at the library a week ago. And I made this banner, and just because it's easier for me to whip something up with fabric than it is for me to color all those squares. So I thought, though this is a language that if a minister holds this, it means something, that even if you can't read the words, you see something about God's inclusive love, and it's a way for me to demonstrate that I'm an ally, right? And in a way that's non-threatening for lots of people. I didn't have to give big speeches. This is a language of its own. And yet it expresses so much of what I believe is in the core of the Spirit of God as I evolve as a person of faith. So lots of teachable moments, lots of opportunities to feel, express, and know that the Spirit of God is among us. Not just church, but when you're in church, perhaps the stories might mean a little more, the community might mean a little more, the music might mean a little more, and the sense that we're all in this together might come home to you. We need you. We love you. We're blessed by your presence.